Hello, everyone. I'm here to celebrate 1 year of Mother Tongue Twisters today. It's also exactly 1 year since our country went into lockdown, and sharing this collective was a direct result of that. But what started as a small effort to celebrate the linguistic diversity of India has now, become this large community of growing community of translators, writers, publishers, students, translation enthusiasts, literary professionals, and artists from all over the country and all over the world. I personally have had the opportunity to interact with so many interesting people through this platform who became like a virtual family to me during the toughest times of the pandemic. So I'm really grateful for that. It's also World Poetry Day, so I'm going to read out a poem before we move on to hearing some very warm messages from well wishers and dear friends and people who, again, have become dear friends through the platform over the last year. So I'm really happy to share that with you today. But here's a little poem which sort of is at the root of why I started the page in the first place. So here goes an excerpt from the poem Dreaming in Gujarati by Shailja Patel. Listen, my father speaks Urdu, language of dancing peacocks, rose water fountains. Even its curses are beautiful. He speaks Hindi, suave and melodic, earthy Punjabi, salty rich as saag paneer, coastal Kiswahili laced with Arabic. He speaks Gujarati, solid ancestral pride. 5 languages, 5 different worlds, and yet English shrinks him down before white men who think that their flat, cold, spiky words make the only reality. So once again, a happy World Poetry Day. I want to read this poem in particular because it's one of the reasons that I started MTT, because I realized that I had grown up internalizing this hierarchy between English and Indian languages somewhere through school. And I'd grown up loving English poetry, not paying as much attention to Hindi poetry. And Hindi, which does happen to be my mother tongue, then sort of faded away from my sort of literary mind. But I've been trying my best to get back to it now. And through this initiative, I've been trying to collect and curate contemporary Hindi language poetry for young readers, and not just in Hindi, but I've been expanding it to more and more languages. So I again want to thank all of you for welcoming that so warmly, because when we started the platform, we had started with sharing children's poems and nursery rhymes and lullabies from different languages and dialects around the country. We moved on to the Translation Thursday sessions. We had 20 sessions in a span of 10 months. Covering languages like Kannada, Urdu, Marathi, Bengali, Gujarati, Spanish, Welsh, Sanskrit, Rajasthani, Manipuri, French, Norwegian, and so many more. We spoke about various aspects of translation, from activism to folklore, and we enjoyed so many readings and recitations by speakers and translators. So again, thank you so much for making these sessions what they were. It became such an engaged platform to discuss deep questions around translation and the challenges around the practice of translation. Who knew there was such a keen audience to hear about translation and engage with it so deeply? So really, it was a very encouraging thing to see. So again, a very happy 1 year to all of us, the Mother Tongue Twisters community. I'm going to now move on to messages from different people who've engaged with the platform from the beginning, people who've been an inspiration to me, and again, well-wishers and really dear friends and mentors. So here goes, and here's to many, many more interesting sessions, interesting interactions around languages, translation, and poetry.
Mother Tongue Twisters appeared just at the right time, creating a platform for us to come together to share our ideas about things that are really important to us: languages, translation, the creative sector. I certainly benefited as somebody who presented, but also as somebody who attended many, many sessions. So thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
ভয় পেও না, ভয় পেও না, তোমায় আমি মারবো না, সত্যি বলছি, তোমার সঙ্গে কুস্তি করে পারবো না। মনটা আমার বড্ড নরম, হাড়ে আমার রাগটি নেই, তোমায় আমি চিবিয়ে খাবো এমন আমার সাধ্যি নেই। I offer these words from the inimitable Sukumar Rai, who I've had so much fun translating, as a gift to my young friend, my mentee, my beloved Mohini Gupta, who started Mother Tongue Twisters and whose work I feel a personal interest and investment in. And it's been a place for many conversations. I've enjoyed my own session with her. She's expanded the breadth of it. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, especially how perhaps the ways in which I hope in future it will look at translation into Indian languages other than English. Here's to a wonderful anniversary.
Namaskar, Salam, Sat Shri Akal. Well, it is exciting to congratulate Mother Tongue Twisters on its 1-year anniversary. It is an exciting forum to introduce and to discuss the importance, relevance, and the richness of languages and literary traditions beyond English. And it is of special significance that the forum took shape in India, which is one of the richest parts of the world in its diversity of languages and literatures. It is also thrilling to see the variety of topics covered in the talks over the past year, which range from bringing the Welsh language back from the brinks of extinction to the Hindi translations of Ibsen. We are just reminded how much languages and their literatures contribute to an ever deeper human experience. Salgira Mubarak ho.
Hello from London, and greetings to Mother Tongue Twisters on World Poetry Day. I'll begin with Mohini Gupta, inspiration, architect, and gentle driving force behind MTT. As she once said, in an increasingly polarized and divisive world, cross-cultural understanding can be a blessing. More than a blessing, I think it's essential, and language is so often where it begins, whether between countries or within them, especially when the country has 22 official languages. My contact with Mother Tongue Twisters has been through the wonderful Translation Thursdays, through which connections across continents are made. Maureen Freely called her talk about translating the Turkish writer Orhan Pamuk, opening locked doors. And that's exactly what translation does. A favourite Translation Thursday for me was Madhav Ajampur on the Kannada poet D.R. Bendre. I look forward to learning about many more poets and writers in many languages and to counting the undoubted blessings of translation as presented through Mother Tongue Twisters. Goodbye.
In this warm spring evening here in New Delhi, I wish Mother Tongue Twisters a very happy first birthday. What a remarkable year it was for the organization and the web page. For me, it was like it's a very rare achievement for the foundation because they created a space for children who can access material in their mother tongue across the subcontinent. And of course, they can have an access to the translations of those resources. So kudos to all of you, to Mohini especially, who is behind, all of you who are behind this initiative. I wish a very poetic World Poetry Day to all of you. Thank you.
Hello, this is Madhav. A very happy first birthday to Mother Tongue Twisters, and congratulations to Mohini for reaching this milestone. I've been associated, so to speak, with Mother Tongue Twisters from about March, I'd say, of 2020 when it began. I heard about it through the poet, Kannada poet Mamta Sagar, who reciting, when she was going to recite a poem of Bendre's, found a translation of mine and asked me if she could use it, and I tuned in and listened to her recite that poem and its translation and a few others besides. later on, I corresponded with Mohini, looked at the posts she was putting up and all of that, and was even given the opportunity to participate in a session where I talked about the sound of poetry translating Bendre into English. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity that Mohini gave me. That happened in December. But even previously, I'd engaged with her posts about what's your favorite word in your language and what is it about Indian languages that work out, and how is it a useful platform, this Mother Tongue Twisters. And I think through her engagement with so many languages in the span of 10 months, she really showed that there was an audience that wanted to learn about India through its languages and not only through English. And I hope the page grows, and maybe I'm even given a chance to once again talk about Kannada poetry that's not Bendre's, because I too am keen to present Kannada poetry to the world at large. So yes, a very happy birthday, Mother Tongue Twisters, and congratulations, Mohini.
Translation Thursdays from MTT. Mother Tongue Twisters. That's quite a tongue twister in itself. And I used to wait for Thursdays to follow Mohini, and all those little discussions on languages, on words, on nuances of words, and cultural boundaries, how languages cross over, and quite a journey. And it really included some very interesting twists and turns. My favorite was the one on asterisks and obelix. That was brilliant in a very different way. It first popped up on my radar when Sabha told me, you must join, and it'll be very interesting. I love words. I love the way words sound in different languages, the nuances of culture that pop up in words. And like a lot of us, I'm multilingual. I've also lived in Shanghai, and I've lived in Korea, and I've come across a whole different way of speaking, expressing, and I find it very interesting how languages communicate. And on Poetry Day, which is I think a perfect day to start off something like Mother Tongue Twisters. Happy birthday, Mother Tongue Twisters. And I would like to quote Robert Frost, my favorite poet. And he says it so well when he says, poetry is an emotion that has found its thought, and the thought has found its words.
Yeah, so after a lot of thought, I decided to read a poem. And this is a poem I found on Mohini's blog. It's called Dedication by Gustavo Perez Firmat. The fact that I'm writing to you in English already falsifies what I wanted to tell you. My subject, how to explain to you that I don't belong to English, though I belong nowhere else if not here in English. And I think if you're born in a place like India, you're born confused, you're born within and in between a lot of languages, and that's bound to facilitate a kind of confusion. And there might be times when it may come off as conflict, but I think initiatives like MTT and people like Mohini allow for the conversion of this conflict into a wonderful conversation, and that's always fruitful. So, I don't know, thank you MTT, and thank you Mohini.
Hi, this is Marzia Rohman from Dhaka, Bangladesh. I'm a writer and translator. I would like to begin by wishing Mother Tongue Twister a very happy first anniversary. I think it was around May last year when I first came to know about MTT through Facebook, and since then I have not missed a single session. It was also fascinating. It was fascinating to listen to the poets, writers, translators, and storytellers from India and around the world who talked about their work, their translation, and the process, and the joys and the difficulties they faced. And I really enjoyed all of it. And I believe what made Mother Tongue Twister a success is that it brought a community together, a community who shared a common interest. And it was launched at a time when the world was going through so much, and it still is. And MTT gave us some hope and promise, and we cannot be more grateful. So I wish Mohini and Mother Tongue Twister all the success.
I congratulate Mother Tongue Twisters on its first year anniversary, and I hope they do brilliantly in the years ahead. And Mother Tongue Twisters has been a very innovative platform to learn about translation, and I hope that they continue to work in this field and encourage more people to take up translation.
Happy birthday, Mother Tongue Twisters. I'm Pallavi Narayan, and I was invited by Mohini last year to attend the first session of MTT. We were a bunch of translators and would-be translators, and it was great fun thrashing out issues and problems and talking about the processes of translation. Over the course of last year, MTT developed a nice little literary community, which just grew and grew actually with each successive, episode or of translators coming in from the subcontinent, regionally, and also globally. And I think I most appreciated the intimacy that MTT generated, how we were able to pose questions directly to translators. We were able to, just talk to them one-on-one sometimes. I think that's what I really enjoyed the most. So I translate from Spanish, and I have a poem that I'd like to read out in my translation from Chilean poet Jonathan Enriqueta Briones' work. It's titled Sunset, and it goes like this. Everything is reddish. Everything is finished. The clouds, they bleed in their pain hushed. The cold wind goes up under a veil goldenish, and I wake up late. I turn purplish. So the Spanish version reads thus. The poem is titled Atardecer. Todo está rocido, todo está agavado, las nubes se desangran en su dolor callado. El viento frío sube bajo un velo dorado, y yo me impregno de tarde, me pongo morado. So, muchas gracias, MTT, Mohini, all the best for next year.
Hi Mo and hi MTT. Congrats on completing one very, very successful year. It's amazing that MTT was born during the pandemic, because this is something, as I know that Mohini has been thinking about, and her love for languages has been driving her through pretty much everything that she's done. But it was amazing that you built this community during this time when we wanted to create, when we wanted to connect with something bigger than ourselves. And MTT was born during this time. It's amazing that, it brought together a community of people that cared about language, that cared about translations. The successes of MTT really can be seen across your sessions, across the kind of engagement that we see on the portal and on the platform very regularly. I think for me, the biggest thing has been that, I've had to Google certain words which I didn't think I knew in many languages. And they have now become part of, almost part of my everyday lexicon. And it's really beautiful to see that something like this has done it. I almost can't believe that it's only been a year of MTT, because it feels like you were meant to do this. It feels like this platform existed and should have existed long back. So thank you so much for the portal. Thank you so much for the platform. And thank you so much for a wonderful first year of MTT. Happy anniversary. Happy birthday. Thank you.
Hi everyone. So the first time I had a conversation about language and translation with Mohini was when she conducted a discussion lecture at Vedika. It was a very unique and one of a kind experience for me because that's the first time I actually had an in-depth discussion about language, the politics of language, the process of translation, and also experienced at least a part of it. Experienced the whole process of translation, and it got me thinking on how loosely and how little I'd considered that the influence that language had in my life, and downplayed it as well. The whole influence and the politics of language. So when later on when Mohini shared the platform of Mother Tongue Twisters and the sessions that were carried on, conducted every week, I couldn't resist but attend, and I attended. My first session was when Mamata Sagar was the speaker, who's a Kannada poet, and it was on the topic of translation as activism. It was just a very interesting and innovative discussion, I would say, because I have never discussed such a topic with in so many perspectives. Like it was an emotional session. People were so emotionally driven by language and the passion for language, but as well as its influence and how we are getting influenced by it, and how we can use it as an activism, and how it can be as a form of power and strength. So later on when Mamata Sagar ma'am actually performed and recited her works in Kannada, though I didn't understand a single word, I had goosebumps, and that's when I understood that, that's when I got thinking that, okay, there is so much more to language and to speech than just words that I could understand. And I was just very surprised on, how I could feel a poem that I didn't understand, and I did feel that poem because that's the reason I got goosebumps. So it was a very interesting session, and I carried on participating and attending these sessions. I can't believe it's been a year now. So all the best, Mohini and Mother Tongue Twisters. Thank you so much for bringing this topic of discussion into the mainstream, and all the very best. And I'm looking forward to all the great things that Mother Tongue Twisters is going to do. Thank you and bye.
This is Shishi Kumar from Edmonton, the capital city of Alberta province in Canada. I'm an English instructor at University of Alberta. In India, March 21st has already passed. However, it is still March 21st in some places in North America. So let me take this opportunity to congratulate Mother Tongue Twisters on its first anniversary. As a translator and translation studies scholar, I congratulate Mohini for making Mother Tongue Twisters a success. I have watched some of the interviews she has conducted with the best-known translators and translation studies scholars across the world. It was really commendable. Spring has just arrived quite meaningfully. Today is World Poetry Day. So on this occasion, I would like to dedicate a 12th century Vachana by Mahadevi Akka, translated into English by A.K. Ramanujan, whose birthday was on the 16th of March. This Vachana captures the spirit of spring. The Kannada Vachana goes like this: Alisankulave, Mamarave, Beladingale, Kogileye, Nimmellaranu Vandu Beduvenu, Ennode Channamallikarjuna Devara Kandude, Karidu Toride. The English translation goes like this: O swarm of bees, O mango tree, O moonlight, O coil bird, I beg of you all one favor. If you should see my lord anywhere, my lord, white as jasmine, call out and show him to me. Thank you so much.
Mother Tongue Twisters. Happy first anniversary. My name is Faiza Jastanwala Williams, and I have been an avid and regular participant on Mother Tongue Twisters and Translation Thursdays since it began last year. I got to know about this initiative through the person who actually started the initiative, Mohini Gupta, and I thank her profusely for getting me involved in this, because since it started, I used to look forward to logging on a Thursday to see the next installment. I've always been very, very interested in English and Hindi and Urdu literature, and have studied English and Hindi literature in college. But my interest in this also has come from my mother, who dabbled in a bit of translation for radio, for All India Radio. So she's translated Lady Windermere's Fan into Urdu and Chekhov's Three Sisters into Urdu. So my whole interest in translation has come from there as well. And through Mohini's venture, I have got to listen to some incredible people involved in translations today, not only in India, and with Indian languages into English, but also on the international stage. So it has been quite an eye-opener for me, and it is absolutely incredible how much hard work Mohini has put into this venture, and long may it last. We are already looking forward to the next installment, Mohini. So here's to another great year ahead. All good wishes.
I'm so glad I got to be a part of Mother Tongue Twisters since its very inception, and the fact that it was born during a major historical event, the pandemic, and we were all trying to find ways to cope with everything that was happening around us, scrambling for hope and some form of, way to preserve our sanity. And that's where Mother Tongue Twisters came in. And with the kind of thoughtful discussions that happened, and all the authors and panelists, put forward their perspectives, that stayed with me for a long time. And we often underestimate the power of languages, the power of the words we use, the expressions we use. And language has been used as a tool to subjugate and liberate folks across cultures. And MTT is doing a brilliant job in, preserving those languages, and the fact that Mohini was able to turn her passion for language, translation, and poetry into something tangible, into a meaningful platform, and into building a community that is equally passionate about language and languages, and the love for languages is what makes Mother Tongue Twisters so special. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey, and it's so special to be able to witness the growth and journey of Mother Tongue Twisters.
I have been fortunate to know about MTT and see a lot of it happening because Mohini happens to be my neighbor and a very good friend. So one of the things we connected on was our love for our respect, our mother tongue, and how we believe that mother tongues these days are not spoken about much, and there is this belief or trend among students to go and learn only English and forget their roots. For reminding people that that's not true, and knowing your mother tongue is very, very important. I think MTT deserves its credit, and the credit goes to Mohini for coming up with this idea. If I remember correctly, when I think she was in Aberystwyth. Why I think MTT is especially important today and what it is doing is because today when we talk about mother tongue in our country, we are only talking about Hindi. But Hindi is not the only mother tongue out there. It's just one of the mother tongue. India is such a diverse country that There are people who speak so many languages, and I think it's said that in every 100 kilometers, a language changes in India. So the fact that MTT is focusing on all the mother tongue out there and bringing them to the forefront through the form of poetry, translation, etc., in an interactive manner, I think that's something that makes it so special. I didn't understand 3/4 of the languages and the languages the speaker was speaking in the session, but I think I almost attended all of them last year. So here's wishing one and many more such successful years for MTT. And I hope it continues doing the amazing work it's doing. And thank you so much, Mohini, for bringing this amongst us.
Hey, a very happy first anniversary to Mother Tongue Twisters. It has been the most calming and grounding influence in the world of languages for me in the last 1 year. I am incredibly thankful for this platform to have existed, and it's been such a wonderful source of intellectual stimulation, revisiting and rediscovering the beauty of languages, and it's been such an important reminder that the beauty of words and the beauty of putting one's thoughts into words is not something to be restricted by borders. It's supposed to be cherished across them, and I'll always be thankful to Mother Tongue Twisters for being such a big reminder of that. And I always look forward to wonderful sessions with Mohini and with the fabulous people that participate in such sessions, and also to rediscovering the beauty of languages with every effort that Mother Tongue Twisters community takes. Thank you, and cheers to everything that you do.
I just want to take a quick moment and wish Mother Tongue Twisters a very happy first anniversary. And I want to also read a very short poem by Jeet Thal. It's called Summer. Color, the haunt's name. Red, for the fire that begets it. Keep it safe from the sun that drops it. Color, its home, white on white. Make it rich enough to fill in for the absence of shade trees, conversation, or hope for comfort. Fold the light above it and stand beside your innocence. The saguaro, the Joshua, the sea without end, or pity, or what, until something clicks inside us like light. We are here to sing the permanent cadence of sand. Here I am,